Hello, this video is on Brexit, which is Britain leaving the EU, obviously remaining, or whatever it is, Britain staying. Um, Quick point, basically, it's the vote's in about a month, and the only person really of political value which is supporting leaving is Boris Johnson, which is the Mayor of London. Primarily because he is a mayor, and he's one of the few in England members of position of authority who can be more independently voted, and it doesn't require as much money because traditionally the winner of all elections are just simply the ones that paid the most money for advertisement or lobbyists. Um, okay, so Britain leaving, what it means essentially is just that you're going to be part of a smaller system. The bigger part of government you're involved in and your laws are decided by and your future and the way your education system and healthcare is decided by and how much money you have to pay, the better, the worse you're off you're going to be. The smaller and more local and more communal, it's always going to be better for you. Of course, because you're then much more likely to care about you and your choices, and they're going to have a more the people making the choices for you are going to be the ones voted in much more locally. Because I mean, again, quoting Stefan, I think from a video I watched a couple of days ago, these people in power, these people in Brussels at the moment who are heading the European Union, they simply don't care. They simply do not care as much about people in England as they do in Brussels. Of course they don't. The same way our members of power or members of parliament don't care as much about people in Brussels or the children of Brussels. So of course they're going to sap us and take more money from us than give, and it is going to be a catastrophe. Okay, so the smaller the better. You've got to remember these people as well, such as you see banners and posters coming up across England and on the trains and wherever you go, which say that, or online, so they can get you at home. The government thinks we should stay in the EU. The government thinks this is the decision we should make. But of course they do, because as I explained to young Lucy here, the camera holder, of course these people are power hungry. They do not. They have more positions of power being in the EU. They have more authority. They have members of their parliament out there being MEPs, members of the European Parliament. These people, of course, I was just reading an article of one of the main people in Brussels, I think Peter Hangdorf, or his name is. Oh, I don't think England should leave. It would be catastrophic, he said. He said, and if you leave the table, then you do not eat at the table. Of course, he's going to say whatever he can to get in power. It's a bigger, again quoting Stefan, this is a bigger drug to them than cocaine. Imagine being off your nut all the time on gear, right? And you're selling it and everything, and then some geezer wants to move out of town who's selling a lot of gear for you. You're like, no, you won't. You'll stay here and you'll keep making me money. I want you to go. You should go. It's going to be catastrophic. You'll have no food. Okay. So you've got to remember, these crackpots are on a drug bigger than cocaine. You're having people who are on some kind of super cocaine make decisions and tell you that we should stay. No, stay in the EU. That fact alone is just big enough. But again, going back, the smaller the community that we're in, the better. Of course, they're never going to care. We need to get out the EU, keep our currency, let more decisions be more localised, less generalised. They're never going to care. We need to get out the EU, keep our currency, let more decisions be more localised, less generalised. Stop paying so much money out, which we are riveting and destroying the futures of our children's for, and keep them to ourselves. Make this big move, make a big statement, and then once we've done that, we can come back and then further become more localised. Perhaps in England take less money and power from government. The more power throughout history that you give to government, the more that they will create a problem and then demand more power to solve that problem. All throughout history, poverty was nearly ended in the 1960s. They bring out the welfare state, and the government demand more power to control it. And we need more power. We need more taxes. We need more money to do it. We need more policing to police this. You give them more power, they become more power hungry. You give a drug addict more drugs, they're going to want more drugs. It's just a problem that intensifies, that accelerates. So we get out the EU, we become more localised, we deal with more of our own problems, and we make this statement. We make this statement. It is going to be a statement. I mean, I can't make up your mind for you, but just forget about all the little policies that they try and trick you with and try and make you fear-mongering. What have you got to lose? Look at the way the EU is collapsing at the moment, all around us. I think we only joined this thing 20 odd years ago, really, and then all the currencies started adopting to the euro, and then it all started falling apart. The banks became more generalised, they became bigger, they became further across Europe. All the big companies merged. There's a massive load of migrants coming across all around the countries, whatever they want. But you've got to remember as well, Turkey is trying to join the EU right now. Again, I'm quoting someone else, but this is a fact. Turkey is a country which has nearly 80 million people in it, nearly 80 million inhabitants, nearly all Muslim. Now, I'm not racist for saying this, but generally the IQ of Muslims are lower than the average British male. They just are lower. And not just that, but these people are less tolerant than we are. It's just true. The average Muslim man, generally, is more likely to be arrested in this country. He's more likely to take welfare with his family. Remember, to have more than one wife in England is illegal, but for a Muslim man, essentially, he could bring four of his wives over, and all their children. They all live off the welfare state. The government, which we pride ourselves on our welfare state, they have to provide houses. They have to provide houses for all these women and all these children. It really is a serious problem, and we're going to make a massive tunnel opening with a suction pump at the other end, fucking bringing them all in. Come on! It's not going to help us. It's going to cost us more money. It's going to be a massive drain on our resources. Our country is already 3.5 times more crowded than France. You know, they're 2.5 times more crowded than Germany, and they're having certain problems in certain areas of the countries. These people, I was just saying again to Lucy earlier, we want a multicultural society. These people are less tolerant and less multicultural than we are. This problem isn't going to go away. The people telling you to stay are in power, and they're going to keep more power by staying. That is as simple as it is. If you think we're going to lose out on trade sanctions and all these things, and we're going to become less economic, then fine. But don't you think that's going to happen with our country flooded by people who are going to be sapping off our welfare system anyway? I think so. I just want to lay out the facts, and then people hopefully haven't spent enough time in a public school to not be able to use critical thinking anymore. Right, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you make the right choice. Thank you.
I was on a heavy tip, trying to cross a canyon.